Welcome to the Functional Cantina. I am so glad you're here. It's been a minute, I know, but I am back. I'm Candace Ray. I'm the proud owner of Kava Cantina, a non-alcoholic botanical concept here in San Antonio, Texas. And if you have not listened to the first two episodes, I recommend you listen to those to kind of give you some pretext on why Kava Cantina exists. So I'm going to jump right into this episode and I'm going to talk about how alcohol has affected me. The first two episodes, we spoke about my husband and how alcohol has affected his life. And now it's my turn. So I am not proud to say, but yes, alcohol was introduced to me in high school. I grew up in Lubbock, Texas, and at that time, where I lived, it was like there was nothing out there. I want to say it was a country type of land, but that's the way I saw it then. I'm sure it's changed quite a bit. But anyway, so yes, it was introduced to me in high school, very minimal, but nonetheless, it was there. Fast forward to college. College is when alcohol was the thing. Everywhere I looked, parties, get-togethers, some things, parties, big parties, small get-togethers, it was there. Your typical alcohol consumption, and I know that differs from person to person. But we would go out on the weekends and we would drink. If I were underage, where there was a will, there was a way. And unfortunately, bars did not do a very good job at getting underage drinking under control. So, like I said, bars, parties, yeah. So for me, I never really hit rock bottom in college, although I did have what people would consider rock bottom events. I had many drunken nights where my emotions were spewing to whoever it was. It could be my friends, it could be random strangers, it could be my parents. I recall, several instances where I voiced my opinion and my feelings while under the influence of alcohol. So as you can imagine, those conversations did not end well. They were not productive, and it just caused major issues. So that's that part. My dad and my stepmom were very gracious, and they asked me, hey, where do you want to go for your 21st birthday? Yeah, I could choose anywhere in the United States. I'm assuming, right? I didn't even really bat an eye to question, where I could go. I automatically said, oh, I want to go to Vegas. And it wasn't to experience gambling. Well, although, yeah, it was, but not really. It wasn't to experience a new place. It wasn't any of that stuff because I had been to Las Vegas before when I was younger. My mom too. But no, I chose Vegas because I wanted a wonderful drinking experience, bottom line. So, yep, we went to Vegas on my 21st birthday. It was fun. It was very fun, but I kind of regret getting so drunk every night that I would end up in the shower throwing up. I went with two girlfriends of mine, and I'm sure they didn't have a great time cleaning up after me, although one of my friends, I won't name her, but she was very wise to say, you can clean up your own shit. I'm not doing this. Yeah, so every night, drinking during the day. It was just a drinking frenzy, really. So much so that on the flight back, I was so hungover. Actually, not even hungover. I was still drunk from the night before. We left early in the morning. I want to say we left early in the morning. I can't really recall the timing. But yeah, I was so drunk. I was vomiting on the plane to go home. And actually, they wouldn't even take off until I got my vomiting under control. Everybody thought our party thought it was funny. I'm sure the people trying to get home or trying to get to wherever they were trying to get to did not think it was funny. And looking back at it, I don't think it was fun. So yeah, that was that instance. There was also the time where in college where we had a little get together. I can't recall how many people there were, but it was fairly small at somebody's house, and we all were drinking beer, Tecate Rojo to be precise. And we all decided, okay, it's time to go home. Let's just drive back home. And so Dumb and Dumber, leading the blind, we all got into our separate vehicles and we took the trek home. And one of my friends was pulled over, and I was in front of her. I see in the rearview mirror that she gets pulled over. I freak out. What do? I also pull to the side ahead of her. Why? Because I thought I could save her. I don't know. At that moment, I thought I could save her. I thought I could do something to I don't know. I called another one of my friends. I said, hey, so-and-so is getting pulled over. Like, what are you doing? I'm pulled over too in front of her. And I can't recall the conversation 100%, but I'm pretty sure she said, you need to just go home before you get yourself in trouble as well. And so long story short, my friend of mine, she was a good friend of mine. They took her to jail. And that was that you would have thought that was a wake-up call for me. And at that moment, it kind of was. I felt so bad. Like, her life at that time was in shambles. I mean, that caused a major rift in everything. She is, and was like, a straight A student. She was very dedicated in school. She was a great friend. Everything was and is and going for her, and that issue became an issue. And so I know she worked her ass off to make it right, and she did make it right, but it was a lot of work, all because we went to a get together and we drank. So yeah, that was that issue, that event. There were so many drunken nights, regretful actions. Okay, so then I graduate college. And I'm working. Think I am got this under control. I didn't. The drinking still happened. Now it wasn't on a daily basis, and some might have thought I had a problem. I didn't think I have a problem, but that's very subjective, right? It's I think when you drink, it's a spectrum, right? And so what is major in somebody's eyes is not major in the other. What's too much in somebody's eyes is not too much in the other. So it's all very subjective, but did I have some sort of a drinking problem? Yes. I don't like comparing it to others because I just don't, right? Some may think, oh, no, you really did have a problem. But looking back at it now, yeah, it did. It was. So, yeah, college is over. I'm living my, what we call, quote unquote, adult life, I guess, working. And then, I had my daughter, and you think, okay, well, drinking just completely stops. No, it really doesn't. It's just a part, it's everywhere. So I go to a concert, Mark Anthony concert, to be specific, and I went with a friend of mine. We had a great time. It was great. I didn't think I was drunk. I wasn't drunk. But it was raining. It was a really rainy outside. All that good stuff. So I go back home. I drive back home, and guess what happened? I get pulled over. I was about maybe 15 minutes away from home, and I'm like, oh crap. Okay, this is probably not going to be good because, yes, I had been drinking. I get pulled over, license and registration. Okay, one thing about me, I lose everything if I don't put it back in the place that it belongs. And when I say lose, I mean like misplace. So yeah, license and registration. Okay, shit. Where's my license? Oh my God, where did I put it? I had it that night because I bought alcohol and they carded me, but I don't know where I put it. Is it in my pocket? It's not in my pocket. It's not in my wallet. It's not in my purse. Okay, insurance. Well, at that time, you had to have the paper insurance. So yeah, where's that? It's not in the glove compartment. Oh my God. I'm freaking out right at this point because I can't provide anything. And the reason why he told me he pulled me over is because what did he say? I was not speeding, but I was driving. I wasn't driving the way I should be in these unsafe conditions. So basically, like, I think I was switching lanes, and I didn't use my blinker, and it was not unsafe for the conditions of the road because it was kind of rainy, and or I don't, something along those lines. And I'm like, oh crap, I wasn't even speeding. Okay, so since I had those 3 things against me, guess what happens? They take me to jail. So I'm like, oh my God. Well, thank God that they didn't put driving under the influence added onto there, because I really would have been screwed. Okay, well, so I spend what seems like a whole 24 hours, but it wasn't a 24 hours. I think, I spent the night there, 12 hour, whatever. I got out that morning, and the first person I called while this was happening, right? I didn't, at that moment, I lived with my dad and my stepmom. I didn't call them. I called the only person who would understand me. I called my uncle. I called my uncle and my aunt, and I explained to them what happened. And like, I guess it is what it is. It was what it was at that moment. And I think that might have been my wake up call. And I say might have because I didn't fully wake up until here recently. And I'll get into that a little deeper a little later. But yeah, so I was scared shitless. My uncle and my aunt, they came and took me out. I had to call work. That was all the embarrassing things, right, that you do when you're under the influence with alcohol, and then the embarrassing things that come after that. And it was horrible. Mind you, I have my daughter, right? Just horrible. And so that is something that stays, in my little back of my head. We don't talk about it, nope, we don't talk about it at all, because yes, it is very embarrassing. But that's what alcohol does. That's what alcohol did to me. And so fast forward many, many years, and life happens, and everything that goes on with life. You have kids, you get married, you buy a house, you try to climb the corporate ladder, all of that stuff. And it wasn't up until recently where I decided alcohol has no place in my life, none whatsoever. It has caused some embarrassing moments. It has caused some rift with my parents. Oh wait, did I mention? I forgot. How could I? The party I threw at my dad's house while my dad and my stepmom were out of town. That was in college. Yes, I threw a party. I did not ask them. And they found out. Yeah, they found out. It was not good. I was in a lot of trouble. Yeah. So alcohol just played some horrible, I don't even know how to explain it, but I think you get it. Nothing positive came out of me consuming alcohol in my younger days. And as I went through life, it did not provide any positive result. So about a year ago, a little bit more than a year ago, I said, you know what? Fuck this. I can't do this anymore. I have 4 kids of my own. I had just given birth. Well, I say just. I was about a year postpartum, and I have 2 stepkids. And yeah, it just was not working. So I did away with it. And it has been probably one of the best things I have decided to do, if not the best thing. And as I progress with this podcast, you'll understand why it has been the best thing. But I just wanted to give you a little context of how alcohol has played a factor in my life, how it has affected me. Now, it is very different than how alcohol has affected my husband. And it's kind of like we're coming at it at 2 different angles. And it has helped us see, and I'm talking us, right? Because we're a unit, but it has helped me see how I can make a difference in this world. And I think that's something that a lot of us look for is, before I die, I want to do something good. And this is it. Alcohol tragically affected my husband's life. Alcohol affected me based on my consumption. And so I want my kids to know better. I want them to be exposed to something better. I don't want them to rely on alcohol to have a good time, to cope with emotions. I want them to see something different. And so here comes Cava Cantina. And you're probably wondering, well, why Cava Cantina? What's up with the name? Stay tuned. That'll come much later. But yeah, this is how alcohol has affected my life. This is why I have decided to be open about it, because I think it's important to know and to express that it's okay. It's not okay, but it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to be embarrassed about it. You're not the only one. I'm not the only one. And I also want to give people different options. So here I am. I'm talking about it, and I am doing all the research I can. I am testing so many products. I am reaching out to so many brands because I think it's very important that we have different options and that we show our kids different options and the world a different options. And it starts with somebody trying to do that. And that somebody is me. I'm sure I'm not the only one. I won't be the only one. I won't be the last, but I'm here. So if you've ever had any questions about how functional botanicals can be an option for you, let me know. Reach out to me. If you have any other random questions, any other comments, hey, I'm an open book. I'm here. I welcome any of that. So I am hoping that I'm more consistent with this podcast because it is very important to me. But there's also other very important things that I am working on. But yes. I hope to be here much more consistently. So thank you for carving out some time for me. I appreciate it. And I look forward, if you're in San Antonio, I look forward to meeting you in real person. And if not, I'm always online. I try to be online and everywhere. So hope to talk to you, hope to meet you. And if not, we'll stay tuned and we will see you in the next episode. Right. Bye.